it can be square, it can be rectangle. Okay, as you can see here, a flat surface is shown here, labeled as flat surface. The curved surface is rounded surface which is not flat at all. Okay, for example, if I take uh, our earth, our earth is not flat. It is it's a rounded structure. Okay, so that our earth is going to have what? It is going to have a curved surface. An object can have a curved surface all around it. Example is ball and an egg, which is, I think, not that visible because white in color. So an object can have a curved surface all around it. Such objects have only one surface throughout. Okay, and the example here are, which are given to us, are eggs and balls. Okay, this, the discussion that we just had was only about 2D. Now what about three-dimensional structures? In three-dimensional structures, the 3D structures can be classified, can be put into two groups. Okay, 3D structures with plane surface. As we were talking about 2D will have either plane surface or curved surface. Okay, now we move to 3D. Again, 3D is going to have what? Classification grouped into two. The first one is going to be plane surface. Okay, 3D structure with plane surface, and 3D structure with curved surface. Okay, so when we talk about 3D structure with plane surface, it is going to be cube, which is shown in the diagram yellow color. Okay, why is it grouped into 3D having a plane surface? It is because the cube, if you touch it, you can feel that there's a plane surface. Pyramid, again a plane surface. Okay, but 3D structure with curved surface is going to be cylinder. Okay, when you touch the surface, which is labeled here in green, the cylinder, the green color cylinder, the boundary of it is called as the curved surface. Okay, this again cone is again having a curved surface. For example, you're holding an ice cream cone. That ice cream cone is not flat. That cone is having a particular rounded structure, which is the curved surface, which is present here in the cone, ice cream cone. And the last one and the best example here is earth. Earth is a 3D structure having a curved surface. Okay, now as we were talking about the ball, we took the ball and we are cutting it into pieces. So when I take the ball and I cut into a piece, I get a small structure which is curved, and I get a large structure which is curved. Okay, so when you take these structures, these are called as curved surfaces, and depending upon what the curve looks like, the curve can be divided into again two groups. One is called as concave surface, okay, which is curved inwards. Okay, now consider you are going to enter into a cave. Okay, the cave is going to be hollow in which you can enter. So here, if you see the structure, when you here see the cut portion, okay, with the ball, the smaller portion, and when you have a place where you can move inside. Okay, for example, I am moving into the ball, the small ant, there's a small ant. The small ant is trying to move into that cut portion and trying to sit there. The Where can possibly the ant sit? Where it has got space. So when you are having, look at the first structure here, which is called as concave surface. Okay, it is hollow from inside. Whenever you have got anything hollow from inside, we call it to be concave surface. Okay, and the other portion of it, it is called as convex surface, and here it is written, it is bulging outwards. Okay, concave, curve inwards, you're moving inwards into the hollow structure, and convex, it is bulging out. Apart from concave surface and convex surface, we have got lenses. When you study lenses, it is a very, very beautiful topic which we will be taking in our further sessions as well. Concave lenses and convex lenses. So depending upon how the curve is, because the topic here is curved surfaces, so it is not necessary that curve is going to be present only on the surface. It can be present into the lens, it can be present into mirrors as well. So concave lenses causes light rays to spread apart. This we are going to discuss a bit later on. For now, just remember concave surfaces there, convex surfaces there, concave lenses, convex lenses, concave mirrors and convex mirrors. Okay. Usually we don't we whenever we say about mirror, what comes to your mind is a flat surface. Okay, so that flat surface which we usually use in a day-to-day life to see ourselves into a mirror, our mirror is very plain. So that mirror which is very plain is called as a plain mirror or flat mirror. Okay, today in the class we are not going to talk much about plain mirror, but we are going to talk about curved mirror. Okay, as you can see in the diagram, there are curves present everywhere. Okay, so there is going to be, depending upon the curve, the portion which is downwards. Okay, you can see people standing there, it's looking like a cave, so that is going to be called as concave mirror. But on the top, it is bulging outwards, where the curved mirror is written, it is bulging outwards, right? That is called as convex mirror. Okay, so as you can see here also, on the left hand side where there's a person standing and clicking a photo, that is bulging outwards, that will be called as convex mirror. And on the right hand side you can see a hand which is seen into a very big form, that is called as concave mirror. Okay, now there is this uncle standing in front of two different mirrors, and to your surprise you will see uncle is appearing different in different cases. When uncle wants to see himself in his house, normally which mirror will the uncle use? He will use a plain mirror, right? When you touch it you can feel, okay fine, this is very plain, so uncle is going to use that plain mirror. But accidentally uncle came across two different type of mirrors. In one mirror, when he saw himself as, oh, I am not the normal size I used to look, I am looking a bit smaller. When uncle sees himself to be very small, that mirror is going to be called as, that actually the mirror that uncle is using is convex mirror. Okay, and then he shifts to another type of mirror. He wants to see, now let me see how am I looking like. And when he moves there, he is looking like so big, so big. And the mirror in which, if you see yourself and you are appearing as if your height is increased, your length of the face is increased, that type of mirror is called as concave mirror. Okay, the best example that we can use for understanding concave and convex mirrors is with the help of a spoon. Okay, the spoon, if you have a spoon around you students, you can just hold a spoon and see which one is concave surface and which one is convex surface. So here also in the diagram we have mentioned here the portion.
We can request all the children to grab a spoon while this explanation is going on so they can see it for themselves. Sana, you can continue.
Ma'am, 1 minute.
Okay.
I got the spoon.
What one?
Ma'am, I got it.
Hello.
I got it.
Yes. Okay, so everyone is having a spoon for them. Good.
Convex. Concave.
Okay, so here you can see where the cursor is. That surface which is going inside like a cave, that is called as concave surface. Okay, when you just flip your spoon and see, you will be able to see this surface as convex surface. Okay, just take like 5 seconds or so and try to figure out by yourself which one is concave surface and which one is convex surface. So this one, again I repeat, is moving inwards. Concave, like a cave, you're moving into something which is having a bulge inside of it, which is hollow. That is concave. And convex is the opposite side of it. And if you are viewing, if you are seeing yourself into the spoon, actually I'm getting a lot of disturbances. Okay, so here, when you see yourself into the spoon, you will be able to see that in concave surface, if you are able to see, you are actually looking as if you are sitting upside down. Here, in concave surface, in the concave surface. If people are able to see, well and good, they will see as if they are sitting upside down. And in convex, they will appear to be normal. The way you are sitting, you will look like that only. So let us just proceed now.
Ma'am, the more farther we do, put the spoon, the more shorter we become in the convex surface.
Yes, very good. Exactly. So the thing is going to change if you change the position. The image size is going to change when you change the position. So as everyone is viewing with the help of the spoon, if you have got any questions, you can ask. So we have got as we move, yeah, size is changing. Okay.
Ma'am, over here there are two of you because you've pinned yourself to the screen. But when
Hello, I'm not able to hear you.
you were putting the spoon left, the other one was putting the spoon right.
You can try both the ways. You can try both the ways. Any questions? Anyone? Riva Patel, ma'am, why does the object look upside down inside the bowl? It is because we are going to actually have a detailed discussion about this question in our session when we proceed. So you will get your answer once we are into the discussion once again. Lens, I don't know what the name is here, but I can see a different name. Someone is asking, ma'am, can you explain the convex lenses? We are going to have an entire session on lenses. This session we are going to talk about mirrors, curved surfaces. Amrush, we are going to have a talk about why are we looking like upside down in the concave side of the mirror. We will be having a discussion about that when we proceed with the session. Um, okay. So should we proceed? I don't think anyone has got. Yes, Vinita. Difference between concave and convex is going to be revision at the end. It is just the start of the session, students. See, we are talking about shiny surfaces, smooth surfaces. And in yesterday's session, I am Jen. We've already seen about if we have got a surface which is shiny and smooth, it has got a tendency or property to reflect light. So be it plane surface or curved surface, if light is falling on it and it is a smooth surface with a shiny layer on it, the light is going to be reflected. Avya, try doing it by yourself. Just turn the mirror and try looking into that. Avya. So I think we should proceed with the session. I'm not getting more questions now. I hope I've answered this question. What I am Jen, what does the curved surface has to do with light?
Yes, ma'am. The doubts clear.
Okay, great. So let us just proceed with the session and okay.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes, please ask.
Ma'am, I have asked in the chat section.
What's her name?
I'm Janvi.
Janvi. Janvi. Okay, let me just scroll through it. Janvi, I can see okay ma'am written, which is probably not a question. Janvi, I cannot see your question, dear. Vivita, Aya, Avya, Janvi. Okay. Ma'am, in the photograph of the man is looking big in the concave mirror, but we are looking upside down on the mirror. Why? Okay, yes, upside down. You will be able to see yourself upside down. It was just for us to understand that the size of the image is going to vary in both the cases. Okay, Janvi, let us just continue. Okay, so image is, okay, fine. Someone is standing in front of the mirror. The person who is standing in front of the mirror is called as the object. Okay, the person who is standing in front of the mirror is the object, and an image will be formed inside the mirror. So what is an image? An image may be defined as that point where the light rays coming from an object meet or appears to meet after reflection or a refraction. Okay, so in plane mirrors also we have seen that some images form. Smooth reflecting surface, again what is going to be formed? Image is going to be formed. Okay, be it plane mirror or curved surfaces, image will be formed because the light is getting reflected, as I just mentioned. Okay, now there are two types of images. If we start to talk about the types of images, because there are two types of images, classification is done based upon how the image is formed. First is going to be the real image, and second is virtual image. Okay, so when we see the image of the boy in the mirror, then we think that image is formed behind the mirror. Okay, so here if you see, you will be able to see, okay, the boy is standing in front of the mirror, but the image is appearing as if the image is formed behind the mirror. Okay, it appears that someone is standing behind the mirror. Okay, if there's a small kid and the small kid is looking into the mirror, he or she feels as if there's another small kid on the either side of the mirror. Okay, but he or she is not realizing that it is the same person. So when we see the image of the boy in the mirror, then we think that image is formed behind the mirror, but there is nothing behind the mirror at all. Is there anything behind the mirror, students? No, it is just a reflection of the boy who's standing in front of the mirror. From the boy, okay, now see, the boy is standing, the light comes, and from the boy some rays are reflected to the plane mirror. Okay, so here the boy is standing there, some light waves are coming on the boy. From the surface, from the boy's body, some light is going to be, follow the cursor everyone, some light falls on the mirror. Okay, because the boy's body is an opaque object, an opaque object is going to reflect light, and when all these light are getting reflected, the light rays are getting reflected on the mirror, they will meet at a certain point, and that meeting of the rays Okay, so for example, from here one ray is coming, from here one ray is coming, from the bottom one ray is coming. So from everywhere when the ray comes, it is going to form an image. So from the boy, some rays are reflected to the plane mirror and the rays are reflected back. All the reflected rays follows laws of reflection. Okay, so any ray that is falling from the boy's body onto the mirror, what is going to happen? All the rays are going to follow law of reflection. From the boy, the rays that are moving out are diverging. Okay, so from this boy, for example, the ray came here. Just follow the cursor, everyone. From this boy, see, light was reflected on the boy because the boy is not a sun, so is not having light on a light of its own. Okay, so from some light source, the light came on the boy. The boy reflected the light on the plane surface, and then from the plane surface, the light got deflected. The light got diffracted into various directions. Okay, just follow the cursor. This is what is possible to do right now. So again, I repeat, there was a source of rays. From the source of the rays, some rays started to fall on the boy's body. As the boy's body was opaque, some rays from the boy's body, okay, from this, where is the cursor? Okay, from the boy's body, some rays were reflected on the surface, on the plane mirror, and from the plane mirror, again, the rays were diffracted. Okay, so we extend the reflected rays behind the mirror. So for example, now the rays are reflected like this. Okay, the rays went upwards. Okay, in the air the ray is going. Now when I take the ray and take it behind the mirror, all the rays, when I bring them, so one ray was getting deflected from here, another ray was getting deflected from here, from the bottom. When I combine all the rays, I form an image. Okay, but the image which is formed here is not by the actual meeting of the light rays. Yes or no? Yes, it is not by the actual meeting of the light rays, because the light rays which were falling on the plane mirror were to getting reflected. Okay, the rays got reflected away. They were not meeting at any point, but we are imagining as if we take the rays backwards, then and we combine all the rays backwards, we form an image. So the image which is formed here in the plane mirror is not by the actual meeting of the light rays. It is by the false meeting. We're just pretending, we're just assuming that the rays are meeting, and then the image which is formed in the plane mirror is called as a virtual image. Okay, it is not a real image because it is not formed by the real meeting of the light rays. Okay.
Ma'am,
Right.
I've realized one thing that
Yes.
mostly those things that reflect are colorless, like water, mirror, and like
Yes, exactly, because you need a shiny surface from which the light is going to be reflected, right? So what you're saying is completely, I agree with you. Okay, so let us just continue. Virtual image is what? An image formed by a plane mirror could not be obtained on a screen. The virtual image cannot be obtained on a screen. You're just able to see it in a mirror. Such an image is called as virtual image. So that means, see, you are standing in front of the mirror. You are only one, but it is appearing as if you're two, which is not real, which is false, which is virtual. Okay, for example, Janvi. Okay, Janvi is standing in front of the mirror. There is only one Janvi, but we are able to see two Janvis. That means the image which is there in the mirror is not real Janvi, it is false Janvi, it is virtual Janvi. A virtual image is that image which is formed when the light rays coming from an object do not actually meet. then the rays are not meeting. How will the rays meet if the rays are getting reflected back by the plane mirror but appear to meet? So what we were doing, we were just thinking, okay, what will happen if the rays will meet, and then we produce it backwards. Why are we saying we produced it backwards? It is because, let us just consider this example again. Okay, the cursor, the rays were falling on the plane mirror and it got reflected back, and the rays actually went upwards, but I am trying to bring it backwards behind the mirror. Okay, this is what we are trying to understand here. But actually meet, but appear to meet when produced backwards on the opposite side of the mirror. So that is called as a virtual image, which is not a real image. Now the real image, and we have already seen virtual image cannot be on the
Ma'am, your voice is breaking.
But what about real image? Is it breaking for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think some
Others.
network issues probably. I will try to speak a
Ma'am,
bit
now
louder.
it's not breaking.
Okay. My voice is not breaking. That means whoever is facing this issue, that means the network issues are there on the other
No,
side.
now even I can hear properly.
Okay, that means it was network issue on your side.
Shrijan,
Okay, it will-
others. What?
Okay, people, please focus. It's a very people, students, please focus. It's a very interesting topic coming ahead. So, and we have got just a very beautiful image right after this slide. So, real image, an image formed on a screen. Virtual is not formed on a screen, because if you go and stand in front of a, in front of a blackboard, okay, on the blackboard, you have to see yourself. So the virtual image is not obtained on a screen, but real image is formed on a screen, and the example that we experienced is in cinema hall, okay, in the movie theaters. A real image is that image which is formed when the light rays coming from an object actually meet each other. So rays are meeting each other. Virtual image, the rays were not meeting at all. They were going in different directions, okay, on their own. But real image, all the rays are coming to one point and getting combined there to form a image which is real, which is obtained on a screen. And the best example here is cinema halls and theaters. Okay, as you can see here, we have someone was asking yesterday about hologram.
Ma'am, your
And
voice is
this
breaking.
is a beautiful image of it. Again.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, your voice is
Okay.
breaking now. Again.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, it's breaking.
Then lockdown, we have.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking.
Is it okay? Is it okay now?
Ma'am, your voice is breaking and we can't.
Voice is breaking again.
Sana, your voice is not clear, Sana.
Ma'am, I think network issues.
No.
I am sitting right in the place where I get the best network.
Now it is audible.
Okay. I hope it is audible to everyone. Hello,
Yes, ma'am,
Is
now
this audible?
clear.
Is it audible? Am I audible? Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's perfect. So hologram, someone was asking about yesterday, and how is a hologram produced? It is again you have to play with light. So if you are done viewing the hologram here, let us just try to understand the phenomena behind it. Okay, how many surfaces can you see here? There are one or more than one surface. Definitely more than one surface. Okay, so let us try to understand how the holograms are produced. Okay, now when we see this diagram, in this you need to, for hologram formation, you need a laser from which light is coming. Okay, see, the hologram is you can actually view it in 3D. It's a parallax phenomena happening. We will understand what it is exactly. So you can see as if it is 3D, but in real, hello, yeah.
Ma'am, like lasers are just like light, but they travel only in straight line, just like light, but they don't scatter.
Exactly. Very true.
Ma'am,
So here
ma'am,
we are
laser
going to
light is not as fast as light, no?
Yes, true. So here we are taking laser because we want light to travel in a straight line. We don't want the light to travel here and there. So we take a laser and we take 2, or like we have got 1, 2 and 3. As you can see here, we have got surfaces present here. Okay, so the same surface you have to take. We have taken here like almost 3 surface, and you have to deflect the beam. You have to split the beam into 2. One is the reference beam and the other one is the object beam. Okay, the laser is coming, then the light is getting split into 2. One is the reference beam. Okay, so one here is the light is coming, it is splitting into 2. One is the reference beam and the other one is the object beam. Okay, so this is the object beam. We again place a surface here. We are trying to reflect the light. Again the surface is present here. The light is going to be reflected again from this surface to the actual object, and then from the object it is falling on another surface, okay, where the actual hologram will be seen. Once you are done reflecting the laser light from here, then moving here, then moving here, and then at the end on the surface, you also have to bring the reference beam. The reference beam has to come here, then get reflected, and both the object beam and the reference beam meets, and that point is called as the hologram, where it is going to be formed. Okay, so is it clear that how hologram is formed?
Ma'am, but if there is a
Yes.
plane mirror, then it will bounce back. The laser
Yeah.
won't take a turn. It will bounce back where it came from,
No.
right?
Ma'am,
Yes,
it
yes,
can
yes.
be,
That is the reason
can
why
be
see in
done.
hologram, you know, see, we are not taking a mirror here. We're just taking a reflecting surface. It is not opaque from one side. It is transparent from both the sides. So we
and
don't
ma'am,
want
it can
it to.
be even reflected on that side if we move it to an angle.
Yes, true. Yes, right. So this is all about hologram, and yes, this is a very important slide, a very important image here, in which we are trying to compare the real image and the virtual image. Okay, the virtual image we have already seen that it is not formed. It is actually formed behind the mirror. It is not obtained on a screen. The light rays were falling from an object, okay, and we tried to bring it back, and when all the rays meet, there an image is formed, and this image which is formed here is called as, okay, this is the virtual image which is not present in real. When the light rays are moving and the light rays get reflected, all the light rays where they meet at a one particular point, image is going to be produced which is called as real image. So if you see both the diagrams, you will understand the difference between real image and virtual image. So real image is the image which is formed when the light rays meet at a particular point after reflection from the mirror, and virtual image refers to the image which forms when the light rays appear to meet. They're not meeting, they're appearing to meet at a definite point after reflection from the mirror.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, in the previous image which you showed us just now, ma'am, what is this reference wave in this?
a reference wave is you are trying to compare the angle that these rays are making. Okay, you have got a purple color or what is the color, pink color layer falling on it. You are trying to figure out what is the angle made by these rays. For that you need a reference wave.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, yes. Now we will try to see the real image. How is it getting produced? Okay, just look at the screen and see what is happening. So the real image, you need to understand that the real image is always inverted, because if you see here, the arrow is upwards here. In the image, if you see, the arrow is going downwards. Okay, we'll have to just wait for it. We will try to explain it once again. See, this is what you were saying. When you change the distance, the size of the image changes. So here, the object is straight now. When the object is straight, the real image formed is downwards. The object is upwards, image is downwards. Okay, we're trying to move the object from one place to another. Now we take it on the opposite side. Now the downward arrows in the image is going to appear as upwards. Okay, so it is inverted image. Now after this one, we will try to change the position of the object. We're trying to keep it at different positions. You can see the size of the image is varying. Sorry?
I didn't understand this.
Okay,
What are all those?
Okay. Now you just need to understand that if the position of the object, okay, the voice is far away from the mirror, the size of the image formed in the mirror is going to be
Ma'am, your voice is
if
breaking.
the oh, what is the issue going on today? Okay. So in this, you just need to understand that if you change the position of the object, the position of the image, the size of the image is going to vary. Okay, that is it. Nothing more you have to understand. We are going to take session on the lenses, and the session is going to be on the lenses. You don't need to worry right now.
Sana, your voice is breaking. It's not clearly audible. Do you want to exit and rejoin again? You can try that.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Hello, is my voice audible now?
Yes, ma'am, a little better.
Okay, better.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Continue. I'm going on area. Okay, I've just changed the network. Yeah, so let us just move on back quickly to comparing real image and virtual image. Okay, when you have an object and it's a real image, you see it to be inverted. Okay, that is it. Object is straight, but the image is inverted in case of real image. Virtual image, the object is straight and the image is also straight. But
Ma'am, your voice is cutting.
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking.
Okay, I will just try to.
I think so you should turn off your video.
Hello, is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Please let me know once the voice is clear.
Yes, ma'am. The voice is clear.
Okay, great, perfect. Finally, I will just try lifting a place that I can adjust. Okay, fine. So, is it clear to everyone now so that we can proceed fast?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what we were saying. The comparison is made between real image and virtual image. Real image is the object is there, the object is straight, but the image is inverted. In virtual image, the object is straight, the image is also straight, but formed behind the mirror. Okay. If you have any questions, we'll just take your questions. If you don't have any question, we can just continue because again a lot of time.
Ma'am, I didn't understand this last part only. I didn't understand all those arrows and the object and the last one.
Okay, all these arrows you want to understand? These arrows
Yes,
you're talking
ma'am.
about? These? See, these arrows are nothing but the object is reflecting the light. It is a light ray. We've seen yesterday the light travels into the ray form, wave form, and particle form. So this is a light ray which is traveling from one place to another, which is reflected by the object. So one ray is going in this direction, another ray is going in this direction. Okay. Now here one ray is going this direction and it is getting deflected. Okay, it is moving in some different direction. This ray is coming and it is moving in a different direction. Okay. Are you understanding now?
Sana, can I just in between just for
Yes,
2 minutes?
sure, ma'am. Sure.
Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
basically any image that you see on the reflecting surface, you're seeing it on the reflecting surface wherever be it on the window, be it on the water surface, be it on the mirror, be it on any steel spoon or wherever, those all images are virtual. And ma'am explained you in details why it is in virtual. The slide that ma'am has opened right now, the the object is in yellow and the red lines, we are just considering two light rays. Now there may be thousands of light rays. We don't consider thousand, we just consider two light rays. So just to understand what is a virtual image, ma'am explained that a virtual image is formed behind. We just say for understanding sake that it is forming behind the mirror, and so we say it is, see, nothing can be formed behind the mirror, right? So it has to be a virtual image. Now anything that can be projected on a screen, So we go to movie theaters, we see the movie on the screen. You must be having projectors at home with which you can see it on the screen. So wherever you can produce any image on the screen or on the wall or anywhere, that is coming outside it. So we say it is a real image. So whenever you are seeing yourself or whatever image you are seeing on the reflecting surface, it is a virtual image. It's very simple. Don't go more much into details of it. So like the hologram which ma'am showed, there were, it was in the shape of a trapezium. Now a trapezium had four surfaces. So just to create an imaginary thing, we put four of the sides together and it was looking like a 3D. So we created a virtual image. We did not create a real image. So wherever you can see anything on the screen, on the walls, or wherever, that will be a real image. Wherever you can see something on the reflecting surfaces, it will be considered as a virtual image. One thing to understand, ma'am, can you go to the slide of real and virtual difference? The um, next. Huh? So here, if you see on the left side, real image is there. The object is in yellow, and the real image is, see, it is a concave mirror. The concave mirror has the real image placed there itself only on the side of the object. Means it is not behind the mirror, it is in front of the mirror, so it is not falling on the mirror. You can project it somewhere outside. That's why we call it to be a real image, and it is always inverted. So whenever you say the property of a real image, you will always say real images are real and inverted. That is why when you were seeing yourself on the screen, on your spoons, you were seeing yourself inverted. Now for the virtual image, whenever you are able to see something on the reflecting surface, you will see it to be, we call that term as erect. So it will be always virtual and erect. So whenever you have any MCQs, you may get a question like real and inverted. So real and inverted is correct. You can never have real and erect. You will always have real and inverted, and if you have virtual, it will be erect. Virtual can never be inverted. So for your reference sake, always write it down somewhere. It is always real and inverted, and it is always virtual and erect. The blue thing in the topogram is the image that we were taking it from from a source. So what we do is, when you create a hologram, I don't know if you all have seen it any time, the hologram is created by putting a image on the mobile phone, and you create a reflecting surface on top of it, and that photo is then reflected outside. So whenever we have a class, we will definitely show you this whole hologram we have created in our lab.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes, still.
Ma'am, in this slide of the hologram, what is the thing that's spinning around it?
Okay, that is just an effect. It is just that reflecting surface. It is just those reflecting glass pieces that are going round and round, and it is just for the effect.
Okay.
You can definitely make a hologram at home. I will share with you on our page one very nice way of doing it. You can do it if you have a thick plastic. You can definitely create it. I will send you the steps. You can copy it that way, and you can make it. Okay, so is real and virtual image clear? Because still there's lot of left to be done in concave and convex mirror. So is real and virtual image clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone still any doubts?
Ma'am,
Yes.
both real and virtual image
we can see our reflection in them, then how can we differentiate that which one is real and which one is virtual?
So whenever you see an inverted image, it is a real image. Whenever you see a straight image of yourself, it is a virtual image. So I am exactly telling you, whenever you see an erect, it will never be real. So the property of a real image is it is always inverted. And whenever you see a virtual image, it is always straight. So wherever now henceforth ma'am will be doing, Sana ma'am, can you go back to that point where we are changing the slides, where we're changing the distance, one slide back. One slide, So see, now object is what ma'am is trying to change. And on the right side where near the 2F, can you point near the 2F? 2F? Can you point near 2F? Yeah. So that 2F, the on the right side where the 2F is there, where the eye is seeing it, right? That is the image. So wherever, if it is straight and here the image is coming ulta, it is inverted, it is a real image. Now as ma'am is taking the object little bit more nearer, see, can you see it is written real image? Now as ma'am is taking more nearer, the image will come. See now the image is where? Near the F point. Near the F point. So it is again straight. It is straight. So if it is straight, it is a virtual image. If it is becoming ulta, then it is a if it is straight, it is a virtual image. If it is ulta, it is a real image. Clear?
Requesting all the children to please put their video off. I can see Jia, I can see Shrijan, who have their videos on. Keeping your videos and audio on will interrupt the network.
Okay, so I think none of you all have doubts with real and virtual. So Sana ma'am will continue with concave and convex mirror. It is a new concept for you and ma'am is trying really hard to make you all understand. Please understand it, and when the time comes to ask the questions, you jot down your points till that time and let ma'am first complete the portion.
Okay.
Sana ma'am, you can continue.
Yeah, let us just continue with this general diagram. Concave mirror. Okay, as ma'am told, there are two types of mirrors: concave mirror and convex mirror. So first of all, we are going to talk about concave mirror. Okay, the cave, the hollow thing in which we are moving. First of all, we need to understand there are some, some alphabets written here. What is the meaning of the alphabet? When we were saying that concave mirror is formed, at that time we said we took a ball. Okay, so it was a ball, we've taken a ball and piece of the ball was cut out of it. So that piece of the ball which was cut out, that is a concave mirror or a concave surface. And the entire ball, if I take and we take the center of the ball. Okay, so this is the portion of the ball, okay, where the cursor is. This is the portion of the ball. Okay, and if I take the entire ball is going to have a center, right? So the entire ball has a center. That center of the entire sphere or the entire ball or the entire hollow sphere, okay, the center is called as the center of curvature. Okay, it is the center of the ball of which we have taken out the portion. That is what is center of curvature. What is the focus? Focus is where the light rays are meeting. Okay, so here the light ray is meeting. That is called as the focus. The focal length is the length between this point and this point. Okay, this point is called as the pole. It is actually written as P, which is not mentioned here by mistake. So P is the pole, this red point is the pole, and the focus, the distance between that is called as focal length. What is focus? where the light rays are meeting. Okay, the light ray is there. It is called as the focus. If we see, the light comes from one side, the light is coming from this side, okay, and this is a reflecting surface. What is the reflecting surface here? This inside portion is the reflecting surface. Okay, the hard surface which we have painted so that the light gets reflected. Okay, you have to paint the surface. We have seen yesterday that what do we use for painting the surface? It is a silver coating. So we have applied a silver coating on this side to make it a hard surface, and this side, this inside, is the reflecting surface where the light is going to be reflected. The light comes from here and it is going here. Now see, in this there is this eye and the object is reflecting. Object is reflecting certain waves. Okay, when the object reflects certain waves, it is going to come to our eyes. Okay, and then we will be able to see an image. So in concave, the image, where is the image actually formed? It is, we're trying to, because the rays are deflecting, because the rays are not meeting in front of the mirror, we are trying to pull them backwards on the opposite side of the mirror, and then the image is formed here. And in concave, you can see the object is small, but the size, the image is very big. Okay, now compare. Object is small, image size is very big in case of concave mirror. Okay, you have to always remember, concave mirror is going to show object size small, image size very big. We'll see once again and then we'll move ahead. Object, and now it is going to show us the image. See, the image is larger. Okay. Now what happens in concave mirror? In concave mirror, you have got to follow two rules of reflection. What is the first rule? Okay, let us just go through the entire slide. We see an image of an object because, why do we see an image of the object? Because light from the object reflects off a mirror. Okay, the mirror is there, the light is getting definitely reflected by the mirror and then travels to our eyes. As in the previous diagram, we've seen the light is getting reflected by the object and is traveling to our eye. So this is the eye which is there in the diagram. Travels to our eyes as we sight at the image location of the object. So a concave mirror. Now see, this is concave mirror. This is the reflecting surface. The inside portion is the reflecting surface. As ma'am already told you people, there is not one single ray of light. There are thousands and thousands of rays of light. So here, how many light rays are we considering? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Okay, we have got 5 rays here. All the 5 rays will be reflected by the concave mirror. Okay, and when they reflect back, they meet at a point called as the focus. Okay, that is what we were discussing about. All the light rays are going to meet at a point F, which is called as focus. If you see concave mirror, you will be able to see, okay, fine, all the rays are meeting, all the rays are getting converged. Okay, converging means getting together. All the rays are coming and meeting at one point. Okay, so concave mirror are converging mirror. Okay, they are converging all the light rays. All the light rays are meeting at a particular point. If you see convex, we are going to see something other. Okay, then you will understand, okay, fine, what is happening, what is the actual difference. So concave, you need to remember, concave, cave C and C converging mirror. So concave C and converging C again. So concave mirror is a converging mirror which will focus. Okay, all the light rays at a particular point, and the point is denoted as F. There are 2 rules which we will just go through it. Any incident light means these light. Okay, these which are falling on the mirror are called as incident light. Okay, all the parallel rays are the incident rays. Traveling parallel to the principal axis. What is the principal axis? As the reference, someone asked me what is reference axis here. It is this, the central one which we use for comparing. Okay, the cursor is getting disappear sometimes. I'm finding it difficult, but then yes, this center which is there, okay, this two rays are up and two rays are at the bottom, and there's one ray in the center. That is called as the principal axis, on which one ray is actually there. Principal axis is this in the center. Okay, this one is the principal axis. Okay, good that the cursor came. Any incident ray traveling parallel to the principal axis. So this is the principal axis, and all the rays are traveling parallel to it. On the way to the mirror, where are they traveling to? They're traveling to the mirror, will pass through the focal point upon reflection. So once they're getting reflected, they are all going to pass through the focal point. We're trying to move a bit slow so that the points get clear. Any incident ray passing through the focal point on the ray to the mirror will travel parallel to the principal axis upon reflection. Okay, this is the same point here. Reflection by concave mirror. Again, now there's a very beautiful GIF here, and we will try to have a look on it. The object is there, the light ray is getting reflected, one more light ray is getting reflected, two light rays getting reflected, an image formed very far away. Okay, the image is formed very far away because again we will see object is here and one light ray moves and the other light ray moves. The light rays are moving far apart, they're very far away, and the image is not getting formed here. The image will be formed at a very far distance. Okay, very, very far distance. So that is called as at infinity. So again, we have got written here something at the bottom. Image formed at infinity, real and inverted. Okay, concave, as ma'am explained about this. Okay, let's just move on. We'll just go through these points very quickly. We've already discussed this one. Pick a point on the top of the object and draw two incident rays traveling towards the mirror. So you have to consider the object, okay, the arrow, and how many rays are we considering? We're considering two rays. Using a straight edge, accurately draw one ray so that it passes exactly through the focal point. So you have to consider a ray which is passing exactly through the point F, to the focal point. Draw the second ray. Now the second ray which we're drawing is parallel to the principal axis. What is the color of the principal axis? Black color is the principal axis. And this is the second ray which is parallel to principal axis. First ray you have to draw it passing through the focus. Place arrowheads upon the rays to indicate the direction of the travel. Very, very important point. Okay, with the help of the arrow, the head of the arrow is actually telling me where is the ray heading towards. Okay, so the object is throwing the ray in this direction. Okay, the object is throwing the ray in this direction. So the arrowhead actually tells us what direction is the ray moving to. Okay, so once the rays hit the concave surface, okay, we say the rays are going to come and meet at a particular point in concave mirror. So they come and meet at a particular point here. They're passing through the focus and they're meeting at a point here. Okay, so the image is going to be formed here. Let us just see that. Yes, the image of top of an object. This is just the top of the object. The entire image is not drawn. So where the rays meet, you have to remember where the rays meet. At that point, image is going to be produced. So we have got a complete image formed. You can see the size of the object is big, the size of the image is here small, depending upon where you place the object. If you place the object here, a different size image will be formed. If you place the object here, different size image will be formed. If you place the object between these two, between C and F, somewhere different position the image will be formed. So as you change the position of the image, the position of the object, I'm so sorry, position of the object, the position of the image is also going to change. And these are certain points which at infinity, beyond C, at C. What is C? C is, okay, at infinity means I've placed the object very, very far away. Okay, in some space, somewhere on earth, I am placing it very far away. Is called as at infinity. Okay, second one is beyond C. Beyond C. Okay, so beyond C means this, the actual one which we are considering. Then at C, between C and F, at F. So when you place the object in all of these positions, you are going to get an image which is real and inverted. So see here, the image is real and it is always inverted in case of concave mirror. Between P and F, behind the mirror, and it is enlarged, virtual and erect. That means between P and F, when I place, this is P point and this is F point. When I place it here, we've already seen the image was getting formed at the back of the mirror, and when anything gets formed at the back of the mirror, it is a virtual image. Okay, and it is going to be erect. Now look at the GIS and try to understand the concept. Here, first one, image position, object position is where object position is at C, the first image. Object position is at C. The image is formed at C. Object at C, image formed at C. We're talking about concave mirror. Okay. Second image, we have placed the object beyond C. Okay, the center of curvature. The image is formed between C and F, and you will focus, if you focus and see, the size of the image is changing. Here a different image size, here a different image size, and here enlarged image. Okay, the object is small but the image is enlarged. So depending upon what you change the position, the size of the image is also going to vary, but the size of the object is never going to vary. So these were there, and we move to the interesting part of it. Uses of concave mirror. The first, it is used in reflecting telescopes. Why is concave mirror used in reflecting telescopes? Because we use telescopes to see, to view far away objects, okay, and we want to magnify it and view. Okay, telescopes we need to magnify and view. So for magnification, we want the image size to be large enough to be seen. Which type of mirror do we use? We use concave mirror. Okay, so in telescopes we use concave mirror. Second one, when you are applying makeups. Okay, so girls, when we are applying makeup, at that time you need to be very, very precise where, on which part of the body, on which part of your face you are applying the makeup, for which you need an enlarged view of your face. Okay, as you can see in the diagram, she's applying kajal. Okay, and she wants to see exactly where the kajal is to be put up. Okay, else it will go somewhere else, it will spread, it will do all the smudging. So she needs a mirror which is going to show her face in an enlarged form, for which type of mirror is she using? She is using a magnified, the image should be magnified, for which she is using a concave mirror. Okay, and then again in shaving, when people are shaving their faces, at that time the face should be seen, the face should be seen large enough so as to properly remove the hair, and so that not any cut is made on the face. So you have to be very careful. When you have to be very careful and you want to see some smaller object, you want to see fine hair on the face, okay, you need to enlarge the hair and see where exactly is it placed, where exactly should I place the blade, where exactly where it will cut. Okay, so for all these purposes, when you want to have a magnified version of the image, we go for using concave mirrors. Okay, yes, again in illumination application, you want to view it. Testing of teeth by concave mirror. The doctor cannot put his or her head inside of your mouth, so she uses a mirror which is going to give a magnified view of your mouth to the dentist, so as to understand whether the cavity is present or whether the cavity is hidden somewhere. Where is exactly the cavity present, for which we need an enlarged view, for which again concave mirrors are used for. So in total, when you want to have an enlarged view, enlarged illumination application, we use concave mirrors. Torches and headlights. So any questions related to concave mirrors?
Don't concave mirrors show our picture upside down? How do they make our picture look enlarged then?
Uh, sorry, I was not able to hear the question.
How can the people use the cave mirror when we can see ourselves upside down in it?
Okay, you will understand it when see when you were using concave mirror. Okay, when you were using concave mirror, the image is upside down. The image is upside down here. Some point of the time, the image when it is virtual, when the image is virtual, it is going to be introduced as a
Sana, go back to that table. Sana, explain it from the table.
uh, this one.
Yeah.
Yes,
This
yes, yes. See in the table, it's given the last line. It's only in
yes.
that way where we get a virtual image. Rest all are real.
So when you are like very close enough to the mirror, your image that is formed is virtual and erect. Whoever is asking the question, is the answer clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think there was only one question, and then we move to the last section of the session, which is called as convex mirrors and
Ma'am,
convex
even I
mirrors.
have a question which I posted in chat.
Okay, so I will have to go there and view it. Okay, and just give me 2 seconds. I can see voice is breaking. Ma'am, why is concave mirror used in flashlight and headlights? Okay, why is it used in? What's her name, by the way? I can see.
Shrijan Jha, ma'am.
Okay, because
No, ma'am, this is my YouTube channel, which has the original Gmail of mine.
Okay, Shrijan,
okay,
I'll just answer it because ma'am in the beginning said that concave mirror is a converging mirror. So we want the flashlights to give us a brighter light, and that is why we are using concave mirrors inside the linings, so that we can focus it very well, because it gives a very good bigger focus light, because what we are putting inside the torch or inside the flashlight is a very small bulb. If you've ever opened, or you've seen your father open a headlight, you will see that there's a very small bulb, but actually when you see it on the road, you see it very big light. So that focus is coming because of the concave mirror, because it is a converging mirror. That is why we use it there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wait for the convex mirror. Ma'am is going to start the convex mirror now, as we have very less time. So ma'am will go a little bit fast.
Ma'am, I had a question. I've put in the I've put it in the I've put it in the chat.
Who is that?
Ma'am, Amrush.
That's what I said. Convex mirror will be explained now. So just wait. Let ma'am finish it fast so that you can get the answer to your convex mirror.
Okay, ma'am.
okay.
Sana, you can begin. There's very less time, so you can begin fast.
Yes. So anatomy of convex mirror, we see the convex mirror here. If you see in the diagram, again you take a cut portion out of any circular surface, any spherical surface, and when we take that, now here which one is going to be the reflecting surface is going to be the surface which is bulging out. Okay, this surface is now going to be the reflecting surface. Initially in concave, this surface was the reflecting surface. In convex, this surface is going to be the reflecting surface. Okay, the bulging surface out. Light comes from this side. Light is going to fall on this side, and light is going to be reflected in a particular direction. So reflecting surface, as it is marked here already, this is going to be the reflecting surface. Again, the terms which are used here are principal axis, which we have already seen, the hard surface, because if one surface is reflecting surface, the other one is going to be hard surface. Okay, focal length we've already discussed. Focus, center of curvature again is taken. So all these, just you need to remember in convex mirror that the surface here which is the reflecting surface, is this one. Rest everything is same like concave mirror. Okay. One important thing, a very, very important thing that we need to talk about is the convex mirror is a diverging mirror. Okay, we will compare at the end between convex and concave. You can see in the GIF here mentioned the light rays come in and the light rays are getting deflected. Okay, they're not meeting at any position. They're just moving their own way. They're not meeting. So when the light rays are not meeting at a particular point, it is just getting reflected in different directions. It is called as a diverging mirror. Okay, it is all the rays are getting diverged, and the image that is formed is called as virtual image. Okay, that is one important point where it says that all the laws of reflections are going to be followed. Okay, so if I make a normal here, what is going to happen? Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Angle of incidence, angle of reflection, both are going to be equal. So in convex, you need to remember that it's a diverging mirror and it forms virtual images. Okay, the images which are not real. This we've already discussed in concave mirror. It's one and the same thing. And we move to reflection by concave mirror. Okay. So here we've placed the object. Now this is the reflecting surface which is bulging out. Okay. And once the rays hit it, the rays are going to travel their own way. They're not going to meet. They're going to meet virtually when you extend it backwards. Okay. They're not meeting in real. They're meeting. We are thinking as if they're meeting at a certain point. Okay. Again, we will see object is there. Placed. One light ray moves and the other light ray moves and they're not meeting. We're just thinking as if they're meeting, and for that we go behind, and in this you see the mirror image to be erect. Okay, it is the same way the object is there erect, and it is but smaller in size. Okay, in concave we saw the image was bigger in size. In convex the image is smaller in size. Okay, last time we will see and we will proceed. This is the size of the image, this is the size of the object, and the size of the image is erect, virtual and diminished. Erect means straight, virtual not in real, and diminished, smaller in size. Okay, so when you place your object very, very far away, somewhere in or somewhere on earth, the size of the image is going to be highly diminished and it is going to be point sized. Okay, point sized means a very small, like a dot. Okay, the image is very, very small, like a dot. It is that diminished. Diminished means smaller in size. Okay, and it is going to be virtual and erect, not real, but looks same like the object. And between infinity and pole, again, the not going to be very diminished, but still diminished. Now see here, this is the actual size of the object. It is again diminished because the size has been reduced here. And it is virtual. Virtual means not real, behind the mirror. And it is erect. Okay, standing straight like the object. Uses. The most interesting part of concave mirror is the uses. It is used in the in vehicles, in automobiles, and on the concave mirror it is written, objects in mirror are closer than they appear. So actually the car which you see in the side mirror, okay, in the side mirror, the car appears to be very small. Okay, why is it appearing so small? Because we want to see as many cars as possible which are present, which are moving behind us. Okay, so as to avoid any haphazards, so as to avoid any accident. Okay, so as many cars as visible is we are on the safer side. So if we try to, make the image size very, very small, that means we can see many cars. If the size of if we're trying to increase, where is the cursor? If we're trying to increase this car size, the entire mirror is going to be occupied with the size of only one car. And behind this car, if cars are coming or not coming, or should we take a turn, that we will not be able to decide. Okay, so many objects are seen their size are diminished, smaller in size they're appearing, and that is the reason why there's a warning written on it. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear because the size they have reduced, and because of the reduction in size, it appears as if they are, very far away, but they're actually close to you. So objects in the mirror are closer than they appear because we're using a convex mirror, and in convex mirror the size is diminished. Apart from side mirrors, you use convex mirrors in hospitals, in buildings, at junctions, at apartment buildings. Okay, so here in the hospitals we're using so as to see whether the stretcher is coming, whether who is standing, where is the doctor present, where is the doctor standing, so as to get a broader view. Okay, the broader view, we want to see as many things as possible. We That is the reason why this is a very beautiful image which the hospital has put up of the convex mirror, so that everything, possibly everything, is visible. Now here in certain stores and marketplaces, again a convex mirror is placed, so that if a person is coming from here, another person is coming from here, and both are viewing themselves into the mirror, they can avoid, okay, the clashes, possible clashes. Again, in some roads, there's a junction. Okay, this car is coming from top of the bridge, this is coming from the other side. Okay, chances are that the collision is going to happen, the chances are that the accident will happen. Okay, so as to avoid this, mirror is displayed on the pole. Okay, and again in some apartment areas, again you might have seen, some people might have seen, placed in their societies, and he is clicking a photo of the convex mirror. So convex mirror in total is diminished to have a broader view. Concave, it is enlarged and has a magnified view. So it is used, some person is working and you can put a convex mirror so as to see who's standing behind. Again in ATM, so as to avoid any kind of accident in the ATM machines. You can see as if some thief or some robber or some bad person is standing behind. So the convex mirror is displayed so that all the people who are standing behind can be seen. So last, we are going to compare between curved mirrors, concave and convex. So concave is converging mirror. It is going to bring all the light rays at one particular position. All the rays are combining. And convex, the rays are getting away from one another. That is diverging mirror. So concave is converging mirror, gives a magnified view, and convex is diverging mirror and gives a diminished view so as to have a broader view. Okay, so this is where we end the session. I hope I've tried my level best so that you people understand the topic. And last 2 minutes, I guess. Yes, questions, anyone? If have any question, we will move on to that.
So actually, all kids can again try with the activity that Sana ma'am started. You take a spoon and now see on the convex side of it. You will always see your image is erect. The image will always remain straight only. That is a virtual image, and it is going to become smaller and smaller as you go far away. Now, whenever you go to the concave side of it, that is the inside side of the spoon, you will see that as you're far, you will see yourself straight, but when you're coming nearer, it is becoming inverted. It is at that time when it becomes a real image. And when you're far and you can see yourself straight, at that time it is a virtual image. So you can try it out and see it for yourself.
Students, you can ask your doubts about convex mirror and concave mirror.
Society is convex.
Looking at the mirror, you all can very easily make out whether it is concave or convex. When it is curved inside, inwards, it is forming a cave-like structure, so it is concave. And when it is bulging out, as Sana ma'am said, it is convex. Any more doubts?
Yes, ma'am, I'm writing mine.
You can say it, Shrijan.
Ma'am, what is the size of the concave mirror which is used in telescopes?
It will be depending on the size of the telescope, the one that fits inside it.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
So there are no doubts today. People have understood concave and convex mirror very well.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No more doubts?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, so we conclude the session here, and we will have our. Sia, do you have a doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so we will have our next session on next Saturday, 9 to 10:30. Thank you, Sana ma'am, and thank you, Farida ma'am, for the session. Thank you, students.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, bye.
Bye, ma'am. Hi, Auntie. Hi, Sanaka.
Hi, Janvi.
Let's go to Skype.
We're having class now?
No, let's go to Skype.
Auntie,
Yes, beta.
Wait, open my
can I
laptop.
ask something? Ma'am, I just asked, can we make a hologram at home?
Yeah. So Farida ma'am is going to send you the steps of making a hologram at home.
Where ma'am? I mean, Auntie.
She will be sending it on the group, the WhatsApp group that we have for Homi Baba students.
Acha.
And what you will need for that is you will need transparent tape, and you will have you ever seen the what is it called, Ariha? When we do spiral binding, we use a transparent cover, a thick transparent sheet.
Yeah, I have it. The one I use for my,
So that
then
transparent
the one we use for, Auntie, the one we use for covering the books.
not that one.
The observation book that
The
we have.
observation book that we have given from the lab that has a transparent cover now on the top. That kind, or you can take a transparent plastic piece.
Okay.
Yeah, and rest how to assemble it. Ma'am will be sending you the stepwise procedure. Okay, put your videos on.
Hi.
Hi. Good to see you, girls.
Wait, I'll open Skype.
No, let's talk here only, no problem.
No
Okay.
one's here.
Yeah, anyways, nobody.
I know.
We just spoke.